it would not have been my advice for Erika in a stage of grieving to go from being the widow to being the CEO and the chairman of the company. If I was running the company, I would have said, let's put in place an interim CEO.
Hello guys, how you doing? Well, you saw the clip, that's Candace, and I have to say Candace has been catching heat a lot. And you know, the girl is a great entertainer. But in my opinion, Candace suffers from verbal diarrhea. Yep, you heard right, verbal diarrhea. She talks a lot that there's so much information. By the end of it, you don't know what the girl actually said. What was the point? What were her main points? You might actually not remember. You need to be able to tell a point, stick to it so that it gives that great impact. But if you're going all over the place, you lose people. It's like, for example, you know, sometimes you'll go to church and you'll have a speaker who comes through. They'll have a message that is, in their own word, powerful, and it's just for you. And you know, you enjoy it so much. But by the end of the service, you come out an hour later, if somebody asks you, what was the message all about? You're like, it was really great. It was really great. It was powerful. But you actually can't tell what the message was about. You cannot relay the message. So Candace gave this message based on a clip that took place with the Jesse interview that Erika had. At this point, Candace had not criticized Erika. She had gotten a lot of pressure to criticize Erika, and to her it was like, based on what? What should I be criticizing her based on? I will criticize her based on being a CEO, or I'll criticize her based on her leadership at tpusa. And as a CEO, you will get the heat for it. So let's get into this and hear what Candy O actually has to say. And guys, feel free to follow, subscribe, hit that notification button, and like the video. Let's get into this.
I don't remember which episode it was I would not have wanted Erika to, it would not have been my advice for Erika in a stage of grieving to go from being the widow to being the CEO and the chairman of the company. If I was running the company, I would have said, let's put in place an interim CEO, right? Someone below. Justin Strife, I think, was the COO.
She has a point. She has a point. Because now you have the issue of, oh no, you're attacking a grieving woman. No. People are not seeing her as the grieving wife and mother of children. People are seeing her as the CEO and chairman of the organization. And because you have donors want answers. So Candace actually has a point here. And I don't know if she got this information or this advice from her husband, since her husband is the CEO of her company. People have questions. People have questioned if Erika Kirk is qualified to be a CEO and a chairman or chairperson, per se, of such a huge organization with millions coming in. I mean, if you apply for a position, they'll look at what experience you actually have. And the questions a lot of people had asked is, what experience does she have in running such a huge organization? Only time will tell. You may ask, what experience did her husband have in running such a huge organization? He had to take courses. He probably had counsel around him, and he grew the organization together with other people. He came from zero experience, but going step by step into what it is by communicating, speaking to people, getting wise counsel. And sometimes I'm pretty sure he probably made mistakes also. He is human, or he was human, let's just say. So, and we also need to stop putting people on a pedestal. And again, we don't know who he was personally. You don't know who Candace is personally. We don't know who Erika Kirk is personally. We cannot put any person on a pedestal. No worshiping of human beings and thinking, wow, they're so amazing. No, no, we don't know who these people are. Let's carry on.
I would have put in an interim CEO and allowed people to figure things out. Because it is a true statement that there's two things happening here. There's a widow, and then there is the chairman and the CEO. And that person, no matter what, is going to have to catch heat for any decisions the business is making. That's just the reality of the way the world works. When you're a CEO and you're a boss, if a mistake is made, doesn't matter whether you did it, whether you said it, whether you tweeted it, it's going to come down on you. And she has assumed that role, okay?
And that is so true. And hence, when Erika Kirk started appearing, promoting her husband's book, people were asking questions. What Candace actually mentioned earlier on took place. Yes, Candace was part of it, but however, other people apart from Candace have been questioning the same thing. And even looking deep into the organization, tpusa organization's finances, the financial reports that they filed. So I think in a way, maybe some people, when she assumed that role, people were like, we're going to support you. You may not have the experience and, but we're going to support you. You'll have wise counsel around you. But will she really have wise counsel? Does she? Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
So criticisms pertaining to anything at Turning Point USA that are being directed at Erika are fair. Obviously, they are fair if they are directed about Turning Point USA and their actions.
So there's two things happening now that there's a whole lot of confusion taking place. One is TPU USA. How are the donations being distributed or being spent? What's going on in the organization? Be transparent about it. So that's one thing. It's not an attack on Erika, but it is wanting to find out there's a shift in leadership. Where's the vision? What's the mission? What are the values? What's the strategy going forward? Then secondly, there is the murder of Charlie Kirk. Because people do not trust the government, I think this happens everywhere in the world. People just don't trust the government. There's a lot of corruptions that take place. Because people don't trust the government, they want to understand what took place. Be transparent with regards to certain questions that have been asked, and you will actually hear now what Candace has to say. And it has nothing to do with the feds. It has nothing to do with, maybe he has been confused. That's why I say he talks so much that sometimes people might confuse what he's saying with what she's not saying, because sometimes she's just not direct. And if you're not direct and people just assume things, well, they're coming to their own conclusion, and once they make up their mind, they will say what they want to say about Candace. But let's hear what Candace has to say. We want transparency based on what you can give us or what the lawyers can permit you to talk about. You don't have to go into things that might damage the trial.
The second thing that I would say, and again, this is unsolicited advice, so she's free to throw it out, but in the entire issue and the energy right now is that people, irrespective of what's happening on paper, don't believe the story. They don't believe the story. And you are, and of course, this is only a snippet of the interview, so I'm sure more will be said here.
This interview that she's referring to is the one with Jesse from Fox, when she actually spoke to him for the first time. So it's only a snippet that had been put out for people to view. The full interview had not as yet aired.
But I'm getting that you have seen the case. You think it's a solid case. She thinks it's a solid case at least, and is saying, show everybody what you have so they can see true evil. Within her capacity of chairman and CEO, of Turning Point USA, they could be more transparent about what happened that day. People don't like the stuff that they've seen about Mikey McCoy. They don't like what they've seen about Rob McCoy. They don't like the history of Rob and Mikey McCoy and their involvement here. They don't like the video of Terrell. They don't believe what time text messages were sent or when the phone calls took place. You know, Rob McCoy is lying. In the areas that you can control the transparency, I think doing that would be beneficial to Turning Point USA, because I don't think Turning Point USA is going to survive if they continue down this path of, you know, Tyler Boyer late night tweeting at donors as he did over the weekend. I think he directed his fire at like John Mappin and Arena Mappin, called John Mappin a loser. I don't think that that's the correct messaging to come out of Turning Point USA.
Be as transparent as you can so you can retain the trust of the people who donate to you, of your donors and others who support the whole organization. It's in most companies, you need to be transparent with regards to how your company is impacting the environment. You know, that's one thing. Sustainability. They need to be transparent. They need to address what they can, even with their lawyers' advice, as in this is what you can say, this is what you cannot say. You need to be as transparent as you can, because people are questioning that the guy who killed Charlie Kirk did not act alone. There must be more to the story. And yes, maybe this will actually come out only during the trial.
And there is something that my husband always says to me, and I don't know if he got it from somebody else, he probably did, but the expression is, the market is always right. The market's always right. He says this about like trading and things of that nature, meaning irrespective of what your opinion is or what you think you know, the market is the market. So maybe the top execs at Cracker Barrel thought it was brilliant to change the marketing, and they brought in the highest paid advertisers to do that, and they thought it was sleek and it was amazing. The people revolted, and they said, we don't like this, we don't trust it. Put that old man back up there. We want to see the Cracker and the Barrel, or we're out. And guess what? The market was right. That's kind of the point of the expression. The market is always right. And the market right now is saying, we don't believe a single thing that happened that day. We do not trust the donors at Turning Point USA. We've got no messaging about whether those donors were removed. We want Turning Point to hit hard the people that are lying. Why are we getting this dance around the Catholic topic, which again did not come from Erika, okay? It did not come from Erika.
I'm glad that here Candace actually does emphasize, like, listen, this whole Catholic thing did not come from Erika, so it's good. It's so funny that she actually mentions this whole thing of listening to the market, because Candace is listening to the market and Candace is getting views, whether it's whether it's from her followers or people who just want to critique her or people who just want to know what's going on. Candace is getting views, and hence Candace is continuing on the path that she is. It's because she is listening to the market and people are tuning in. So it's a good strategy.
And I would imagine there are a lot of people that are speaking in your ear. That's what it means to wake up one day and be the chairman and CEO of a major company.
If you don't have the experience, people might be like, you don't have the experience. Don't be afraid. We've got you. We're going to advise you. You just be the face. Be the face. We'll be the mastermind behind. It could be the case. We don't know. Maybe Erika might be innocent in the whole thing. Like I said, do not put anyone on a pedestal. Just because people quote scriptures does not mean we need to put them on a pedestal. We've seen this with pastors who are in it for money, and they are just manipulating people for their own personal gain. So please don't put anybody on a pedestal. Okay. Hence, I'm an encourager of read the Bible, know the word of the Lord, so that when somebody comes with a counterfeit, when someone comes with something false, you already know, the word of God does not say this.
But people are going to need clarity on these matters because it doesn't feel like those snakes are out of the garden. That's what it doesn't feel like, I would say. And so, yeah, I would say in every aspect that you can be transparent, which doesn't involve the feds, I would do that. I would say in every aspect that you can be transparent, which doesn't involve the feds, I would do that. I look forward to obviously watching the interview that is going to premiere in 2 days on Fox News with Jesse Waters. I will certainly be watching.
The main things are people don't believe the narratives, maybe based on Candace and her investigation. People don't believe the narrative that the guy who killed Charlie Kirk acted alone. So many things are mixed up in what he says that people forget what exactly he's saying, because 1 minute she'll be attacking this person because she's defending herself, then he'll attack this other person because she's defending herself, that you don't know what is going on. It's like a soap opera, and people do enjoy soap operas. Secondly is, as a donor, for people who are donors of tpusa, they want transparency as to how the finances or fundings are used. And also, what is the new strategy of the leaders? Where's this company going? You can't just say, we're going according to what Charlie Kirk's vision was. Great, but then you're not Charlie Kirk. So how are you going to achieve the same vision if you don't have the same personality as Charlie Kirk? Because people were attracted to him for a reason. But are you going to be the same magnet for them, or are you going to be shifting and saying, okay, we are going to now go and attract a different group? But corruption is in a lot of things. Corruption is in a lot of other governmental organization, private companies, you name it. Corruption is there. Politics, corruptions. So guys, like I say, pray, stay in the word of the Lord, invest in yourself, invest in reading, invest in the word of God, invest in just gaining knowledge and gaining a skill that will uplift you, and be encouraged. So what do you guys think? Did you think this was wise counsel from Candace to Erika? Follow, like, comment, subscribe. I'm here. Just because you don't see my face does not mean I'm not real. I am really real. And I love laughing. That's one thing I do love. I love laughing. All right, guys. Cheerio.